Obviously, very disappointing. I mean, we felt like, or I felt we had one chance at winning this game with how injured we were and with Jacob not playing, and that was to control it offensively with a high volume of runs, keep them off balance by switching quarterbacks in and out, using misdirection, deception to create yards and ultimately points, and then it worked to a T in the first two drives. I'm like, wow, this might work. And I think the game really turned. In my opinion, I think not getting that fourth down at the end of the first half was one of the more critical errors. That's a turnover. That's a 6 turnover game in my book because not converting the fourth downs. And it's been a problem. We've been really good in the fourth and medians. We've been stinky at the fourth and shorts. And at that point, you could feel like, oh no, I think everybody knew we needed to finish off that drive with points, and the second half starts. And I'm just going to not say any halftime speeches anymore because we've had some brutal coming out of second halves and something we have to fix.
Talk about the fourth down at the end. Hindsight, did you kick it? You wish
No. Listen, we made a decision at the beginning of the season that I was going to be hyper aggressive with this team. Those are all within. In fact, that's a yard. The ghost said 4th and 4 there. That was a 4th and 2. We're using. I'm not completely beholden to the metrics, the data, but I'm leaning heavily on it, especially with this team, knowing that we have to try to steal possessions and possess the ball and protect our defense at times. So, no, 3 points isn't going to change the game there. I felt like we needed to be ahead by 7, 10, 14 the first half to have a chance in this ball game.
Just how would you rate, your combination of quarterbacks, considering they all had to come in at different times? There wasn't a whole lot of, lack of a better word, consistency of being on the field because they were going in and out.
Well, that was the point.
So how would you grade those?
Well, you can't turn it over and grade out well. That's just the reality of this position. I had a lot of games when I played where I made some incredible throws, made plays, did some great things, but turned it over, and in my book, that was a bad game. So I thought they prepared really well. I thought they handled the nerves of the game pretty well. Right, that's a big job to go in there in the battle for the bones and find out late that you're going to play. But careless with the football. We just can't be careless with the football. And because of that, if you turned it over, you can't grade out well.
Speaking of preparations, how tough was it preparing this week? Not really quite knowing exactly and having to prepare a lot of guys and just sort of, what was this week like?
It was hard. In the back of my head, I kind of knew I wasn't going to play Jacob even if he was cleared. I've had 14 concussions, and as you guys got to know me, you can tell the effects. I just don't want to expose a young person to a possible head injury. Now, I'm relentless when it comes to other things. Like, I call everything else pretty much a boo-boo. But when it comes to the head, we're not going to mess with this. So I kind of knew in the back of my head, like, the earliest he was going to clear protocol was going to be Friday or Saturday. But I think the team needed to think that he was going to play. But it was hard. It was hard figuring out what plays, what personnels fit with each quarterback. Landry's probably got the most second-team reps throughout the year. But Harry, before the injury, he hurt his shoulder a few weeks ago. Before he hurt his shoulder, was getting a lot. So it was kind of hard to figure out rep counts. But then we tried to use it to our advantage late in the week. Mort and I discussed just using it as an ability to keep them off balance, and that's what worked for the whole first half. And then, we just kind of reverted back to our traditional stuff in the second half, and it really cost us.
Did they change anything defensively in the second half, what they were doing?
No, we knew we had bait them into pressure. We were trying to get them to do everything they ended up doing. When you run the quarterback, you're a gap short, so you have to create a gap on defense, either blitzing a corner, blitzing a safety, getting to a cover zero. It's just modern-day football. We wanted them to be in those coverages because that was a potential for big plays, and then we just didn't capitalize on once we got them there.
Just, looking on the defensive side, you've not allowed a FBS opponent less than 35 points. What do y'all need to do to make, second half adjustments? Because obviously a lot of that comes in the second half versus, actual game planning throughout the week.
Yeah, I'm not saying we played good defense, but this is not one I'd pin on the defense. Even the point total, just because you give them a pick six, 3 other short fields because of turnovers. It puts the defense in a really hard position. Now, the expectation is you hold them to field goals, and we need to grow to that, but this is a tough one to swallow defensively because, they did get some key stops, and then we didn't do much with them. We had great field position to start the second half, didn't do anything with it, so I'm just going to give the coach speak answer there because it's true. Like, there's not an area in our building we'll have to keep getting better at. I think we have made improvements in a lot of areas, but they're not significant enough to lead to wins yet.
On the pick six, not trying to get you in trouble or anything, so I'll refresh
I've
your
already
memory.
thought about how he's going to answer this. It was a tough break.
How important is it to get those calls
Yeah,
right
it was a
on the
tough
field
break.
at that time?
It's a really tough break. I know that's about all I can say. I'm sure it'll be something that we'll review on film and send in.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.